navigate through procurement and also in building relationships at the enterprise level. And today we'll be focusing on some very practical lessons from real world experience. And we have two experts in Ramesh and Sagar. But before we start, I just want each of you, just to give some perspective, just each of you in this webinar, to imagine that you are the CIO of $1 billion company. So you are the CEO of $1 billion company, and you are choosing between a globally recognized vendor and a 100% specialist firm. Now, which would you choose and why? That decision and the factors behind it lies behind the very heart of today's discussion of breaking into enterprise accounts. Let me introduce again Ramesh and Sagar, and let me, if I'll request each of you to very quickly give a brief background, since you'll be the speakers and your expertise will be very valued. A very big background for both of you before we dive into the discussion. Ramesh, Sagar. Let's start with you, Ramesh.
Yeah, thanks, Jagrati and Vijay. Very quick, I think it's already been introduced, but I am Ramesh Krishnamurthy, President and Business Head at Indium. I've come with 35 years of experience. Okay, so 35 years of experience. Out of that, about 10 plus years of experience comes as an entrepreneur journey. At Indium, scale the business, various geographies, and especially gaining from what we call it as a independent software vendors as business or SMEs, smaller customers to enterprise. The last 10-15 years has been a journey for me personally, where I scale the business into large enterprise, and that journey has been a fantastic journey. And I'm here to share some of my experiences through this journey. And disclaimer, it is pure my experience and opinion, and I strongly believe in whatever I have gone through that, and I'm happy to share it here with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh. And knowing him well, I'm sure that's going to be worth a whole lot to all of us. Thank you, Sagar.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sagar Babar. I am co-founder of ComSense Technologies. We are Salesforce and Agentforce SI. We work across the globe, US, Dubai, and India. And before ComSense, I was with IBM for a decade, and I used to be the pre-sales and salesperson. Worked in UK, US, and in India when I was in IBM. And this, whatever Vijay is going to ask us, it will be my practical learnings. Whatever we have learned last 11, 12 years, I'm going to share that. I'm excited.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Sagar. So let me dive right in. I'm going to ask a very broad question to open with, and then we'll go into a little bit more specifics. But we all recognize that at one level, enterprise sales has always been extremely challenging, always been that. But we're also going through a time when things are so rapidly changing for the technology world. And I really would like you to share some of what you think is most significantly shifted or changed in enterprise buying if you look at the last 3 to 5 years. Ramesh, can we start with you?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I mean, I think last 3 to 5 years has been very interesting part of it, because as I just mentioned that I've been trying to do this for last 10 years and last 2-3 years and 3 to 5 years, and especially last 2-3 years, I would say, been a very interesting change in the buying patterns and the concerns of the enterprises. So one is that the decision taken time, okay, it's basically become little bit faster than before. One of the things that we usually go with an enterprise, we say that, hey, you know what, the sales cycle is longer, the decision making is slower, and things like that. Today, what has happened is that that decision-making process has a little bit become faster. And while there is a pyramid structure always at an enterprise where you have a procurement, a CFO, and things like that, but some of the decisions based on what solutions you are buying and little bit the budgets are also distributed to various divisions. So that way the divisional heads are able to take their decisions much faster and sooner. So point one is that the decision-making process, because the enterprises know the kind of technology shift that is happening so fast, they can be left behind, and catch-up game is never going to happen this time of year. So you need to be fast. So from that standpoint of view, they're forced to do that, and that's one big shift. Second is considerable amount of effort has been put on to the compliance thing, right? When they're buying, enterprises is buying, they're looking at compliance as one of the big, factor. So from a SME or any other vendor point of view, what kind of a compliances you need not. When I talk about compliance, it's just not cyber security, which is we are talking about with MITAS coming in now recently, but also talking about data privacy, governance, and things like that is even more focused area today from the enterprise. Possibly the third, if I have to pick up, is enterprises was looking for solutions faster than before. So which means that that's again a good news. The first one point was a good news. The last one point I'm saying is also good news. They are looking for something which can be done faster. They are not looking for a pilot one. And I will come and do a pilot for you and things like that. And then the pilot phase is gone. Now we are looking at a hardcore. What is that you can deliver? What is the value that we can bring into the table? So this I feel is comes to my mind when we talk about the shift especially last 2-3 years.
Thanks, Ramesh. That's interesting. And while you did say it's positive from the point of view of SMEs and the challenges they face in getting into enterprises, I don't know if it's something I would be a little bit more worried about, but because if decisions are made quicker, people might tend to be safer. And then kind of instead of going and doing due diligence on a small organization, will they look for the larger organizations rather than the SMEs? I'll park that. I just thought that crossed my mind when you said that. But Sagar, any thoughts from your side in terms of what the shift is that's happening?
So I think one thing is not shifted for the SMEs in enterprise is that how do you build your credibility in front of them? So that is not changed in this agentic world or whatever. That is not shifted. What has changed, I think, in last 1.5 years is people are asking what AI you are doing, and they're just not asking for AI, they are asking for referenceable customers or some outcome from the AI, right? So maybe they're asking for use cases, they're asking for agents is far away, but recently last 1.5 years, I have seen every CXO in enterprise is saying, okay, because I think why it's logical, because the CXO in the enterprise has to present in his board that what AI he's bringing, right? And that's where he's asking those questions to the SMEs and to the companies. So that's the major shift for me. And what Ramesh said, compliance, because of AI, it is increased now, right? And it will furthermore increase. But these are the two things, I think.
Thanks, Sagar. But let me continue on what you said because it's a very pertinent contextual to the times. So if you look at AI, what is really happening? Is it genuinely creating a lot more of new opportunities for SMEs? Or is it simply kind of raising the bar and making it harder for everyone?
I think definitely there's a lot of opportunities. There's nothing to worry for, at least for the entrepreneurs in this group, right? There's nothing to worry. There are definitely huge opportunities. The problem is we as entrepreneurs should not think short term. People everywhere in the globe, they are saying, okay, I've implemented AI, and this is working and all, but realistically it is not working, or realistically there is no outcome out of it, right? I think opportunity is there, definitely, but instead of we saying I can do this 4 use cases of AI in your company, you can say I can do this 1 use case. I have done a pilot, this is the outcome, and there is a referenceable customer who is saying that this is working. This is the most powerful thing for tapping these opportunities.
Interesting. And I've probably come to AI in a little bit in more detail. And just for everyone to know, we'll try and wind this session up by about 3:45, which will give a window of 15 minutes for Q&A as well. Now, coming back to Ramesh, and let's be a little honest here. I think most enterprises say that they are absolutely open to working with SMEs, but when you have a critical project that comes along, invariably they tend to choose very established, one of the larger vendors. So is this perception largely unfair, or have SMEs not done enough to earn trust?
Okay. See, how do I answer this? Okay, so it's even if Ramesh have to buy something personally, which is at high stake, who do I go with? Do I go with anything smaller, unknown, or I should go with somebody which is well branded, known, trusted, right? So I think the same philosophy goes everywhere, right? The reason why we need to look at why they do the way they do it, the decision, the enterprises. Primarily, the point you touched upon in Sagar is primarily the trust factor. You need to create that particular trust, and when you create that trust, then what happens is that you become dependable. But then, as an SME, let us take a fact. As a fact of a SME is that maybe I'm a 200 member company or a 1,000 member company, right? Comparing with a tier 1 company, thousands and thousands, multiples of thousands. Whenever large enterprise has got a large opportunity, okay, where they want to bet about say 400, 500 people, which is larger than the size of my company, SME, you tell me the enterprise will go to whom, right? So I think the comparison is not right? What I would rather say is, hey, break down the opportunities in your enterprises to the chunk and the sizes where you can serve. Go and build. Okay. And then what happens is that you scale within that enterprise. Then what happens is that when there is a new opportunity that comes in, the same enterprise customer will come to you and say that, hey, you know what, these guys do better than the large guys. It has happened in my experience in the past, where a very large customer, they knew we do the things best. They said, hey, you know what, you guys do best, but we will not work with you. You have to work through an SI. I'm openly telling because all of us are SME, mostly SME, right? This happened. We can relate this experience every day, right? We refused. Then the client said, hey, you're refusing a big business. Okay, we refused to work that way. But then after 3 months, 6 months, the business came to us. I'm not suggesting we should do the way we did it, but what I'm saying is that you create that trust. Okay, we always say fail fast. Let the tier 1 companies fail fast and let SMEs be successful the first time. Let's be right the first time. And that is how we can build the trust, is what I feel, Vijay.
I think that's very beautifully put, and I think it makes total sense. Let me just continue with you on that point, which is that getting that initial entry, getting that bite-sized chunk that an SME can actually do, and then building on from it is, I think, a kind of model that you're really talking about, of really landing and expanding into an enterprise account. But if you really look at it, while most SMEs say that, we have worked with the Fortune 500 customers for years and so on, their revenue has really not grown significantly. So why is it that so many customers remain vendors despite early success and early success delivery? Let me continue with you on that, Ramesh.
Sure, Vijay. I think again very interesting point. And this is where I feel that we need to be very close to our customers. We should know what is happening within our customer. Okay, let me ask this to all the audience here. Okay, how many of your clients, Spox, okay, you are a phone friend for them? If your client has a problem, are you a phone a friend? Phone a friend may not give you a business, but that certainly helps you build that trust. But over a period of time, so what happens is that when you build these relationships, right? Because when you work with enterprises, it's not ABC corporation. It is you're dealing with a Ramesh or a Vijay or a Sagar. and we all have emotions, trust, confidence, all that thing. So we build relationships. Okay. So what we have also seen, which is a little bit digressing, when these people leave from one organization to other organization, they change vendor and you get benefit, right? That's how new business comes also, right? So from that standpoint of view, you create that trust and belief, and then what happens is that once you land and build that, look for more business within that enterprise, rather than going to an enterprise and saying that I do everything. So most of the time SMEs, what we do is that we go and say that I can serve you everything. You tell me what is your problem, I'll solve it. Not possible, right? Practically not possible. Okay, even a doctor today is not able to do that. We have so much of specialization. So the thing is that be very focused. It's very important you are a inch wide, mile deep, as far as when you're trying to solve a problem, right? Go with that. Once you land, then you slowly go into your HR function, finance function, sales function, operations, data warehousing, things like that, and look your sweet spots, internal success stories, do internal workshops. It's very important. You do internal workshops within the organization and try to expand. If you don't do these things, then what happens is that the relationship only a vendor relationship. We are not meeting, I'm not saying we should wine and dine. It's more than that, right? You become very close friends. Some of our friends or customers have become so close friends, right? That's how the business comes when they move from one organization. That's how it is. So in short, yeah, Vijay.
Thank you very much, Ramesh. That's very interesting what you said, and I think providing value on a sustained basis where they reach out to you when they see a problem is certainly one of those things which establishes all credibility. Sagar, when we look at some of these large enterprises and in how they evaluate SMEs, what really are some of the biggest concerns that might be there in the buyer's mind? And if you look at the trust signals that we can kind of put forth to the large enterprises, which will improve the SME credibility, what would that be? So what are some of those challenges they see? Yeah.
So before I answer, what Ramesh made a very good point. He shared his experience that we said no, and after 3 months the customer came to us, right? We said no to subcontract under someone, right? And that's very, very powerful. And this is where we go wrong, right? We initially think that we want all the businesses, it's okay to go subcontracting, right? And this is the right step. What Ramesh shared, we also follow the same rule that, we don't do subcontracting. And worst case is a larger deal and there is a need of subcontracting, then we don't provide resources, right? We take projects. We can do back-to-back agreements. Right? But staffing, resourcing, we try and avoid. And trust me, once we start doing this, the word is spread in market, right? That these people don't provide resources. They are just project guys. They do this. They are really good and all. I think that's a very strong point Ramesh made. And then Vijay, you asked a question like, how do you compete with this bigger guys, right? So, and this is not which I'm just giving a story, but I literally follow this, right? I always compare enterprises as so in the olden days, there were wars, right? For example, in Maharashtra, there were Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and Mughals were there, right? What was the difference? Shivaji Maharaj was very agile, fast decision-taking. He used to use horses. They used to use elephants, right? This is the exact difference. We have to be fast. We have to take faster decisions. We have to show that we are agile. We have to show we are flexible, all those things impacts in competing with them. I think this is what my take on what Vijay is your previous question. But now what you just said is still what does the enterprise look, right? I think first thing we all spoke till now, trust, right? But how do you build that trust? So one of the things the enterprise will always look is how old is your company. Let's say you're 2 years old, for example, right? But then they'll see what is the potential. They'll see, look at the founder. Can they survive for 3-4 years, right? Because if enterprise is going to be associated with you, they are going to bid on you. They are worried that whether you will survive. Do you have financial backing? Do you have big enough? Do you have, is the founder strong in market? Does he comes from an experience, enterprise thing? This is the most important thing to build the trust, because they are not wrong when they see, right? Because it's like Ramesh said, it is their job also on stake, right? If we fail, they fail. So this is one important thing enterprise will look at is, do you guys have enough financial backing? Do you guys have, projection of next 2-3 years? Do you guys really are solving some business problem which no one is solving, right? So this is the most important. And what I have learned, right? You cannot go in public and say, you know what, I have lots of money in bank, right? You cannot say that to these customers, but there would be opportunities where you can tell this, right? Now I'm sorted for next 2-3 years. I have this many customers. I have this, right? My business model is this, that my business is profitable. This IP which I have developed has been validated by Gartner or something, local person also, right? All these clues you have to give in the meeting so that they trust you and they feel comfortable to work with you.
Interesting. Nice. Thanks, Saga. I'm just going to shift gears a little bit to one of those things which I think is uppermost on everybody's mind, which is really about GTM and go-to-market strategies. So Ramesh, if you were to look at a 200% technology company, and if you were asked where you're going to invest your GTM dollars spent, what would you really be prioritizing? Would it be outbound sales? Would it be on thought leadership? Would it be partnerships? Would it be industry events? Would it be customer referrals? What really would be things that you will prioritize your spend on?
Okay.
Don't say all
guys,
of them.
No. The GTM guys in this meeting may hate for me to saying this, but don't spend on events. Okay. You have money is hard earned for SMEs. Okay. I'm not saying don't spend on events. I'm saying that with a caveat. Okay. Usually the psychology is that I have money, need to spend on GTM. I go and attend events. Immediately after the event is happened, we have a register. So many people came and attended. I networked with so many people. Hey, where is my return on investment next 1 month, 2 months? I can guarantee you are not going to get anything. So instead of answering your question, which one, I'm telling you which one you should not. Okay. Events is primarily for branding, which means that if you do invest on an event, you will get your publicity in next 3 months, 6 months. Then you build that. So if you have attended an event this month, maybe next year, 6 months or 12 months, you may get some connections, which you need, further, nurture. Okay. But if you look at it, my money, if I have to spend immediately, right, I will do that on 2 things, considering what is happening in the market today. Enterprise market. Enterprises are buying platforms. Platform-based solutions is what is most of because the individual solutions, the software development, it's a cycle, right? Every 10-12 years, the cycle changes. So defragmented software development to platform, and then again it will go to. So now we are in the phase of we are going on a platform driven. So there are so many platforms. You pick up some platform, partner with them, go to solution, go to market, do sales, outbound sales. So if you have to pick up as a partnership, and then go with a outbound sales. References, no doubt about it. I'm not even calling that out because that is, for me, it's given, because and though it is given, Vijay, let me tell you, I have found many SME founders feel shy in asking for references. Be shameless in asking for references. Okay, be shameless in asking references, and they'll be very happy. They'll be happy to share, references and things like that. Yeah.
That's a good response, Ramesh. But uh, I would perhaps think that some of these things could be contextual also, right? And I cannot agree more that just going to an event and coming back sometimes could be just wasting a lot of money. But if it be a situation, for example, if you are deeply entrenched into a vertical, and that is one where you see all those folks who are related being in that particular event, being able to network, being able to connect with them and take it meaningfully forward for your business, would that be an instance where an event,
I
for
agree.
example?
I agree.
Or another example is I used to work the Middle East market quite a lot earlier. I don't today, it's the US market. But at that time, we had a lot of customers from different countries in the GCC region. And while I felt that the GITEX event personal, I felt the GITEX event is absolutely no good to create or generate revenue opportunities. But I still used to go because all my customers would be there. It's a great place to meet it. So there can be reasons why an event could be, but without a very clear purpose and objective, just attending an event oftentimes could be just blowing up money. But I love what you said about outbound sales being very relevant, partnerships being relevant, and referrals being a given. Absolutely, yes. On that, if I can just ask you before I go to Sagar, there's one question on the chat which we could probably take, though it's related. It's a question which says, can you please talk more on channels that work on initial lead gen for enterprise? And is LinkedIn a good one? So if we look at outbound sales, is this a good channel? Do you have a sense on that?
LinkedIn is very good.
Okay.
Okay. Definitely go and exploit. Unfortunately, it is becoming Facebook, but still there is some professional network happening. So I think it's a good, very good. I think you can find people around there, and if you have to spend your money, whoever asks the question, yeah, I would. If you want to spend money on that, definitely spend money on that. You today LinkedIn gave you a lot of insights, like a lot of insights. Thanks to LinkedIn, thanks to Claude, thanks to a lot of those AI tools, which helps you to know the persona before the meeting, right? So previously we used to have the what we call it as a pre-sales team, and at least our pre-sales team is shrinking very, very fast. And I'm sure the same with other companies, right? Because the tools are doing all the research today for us, and it gives all. So what? How do we do this? These are like LinkedIn and Claude and other tools which is giving the insights, and yeah, that's one good way you can use. Not for if the question was to can we use outbound for outbound sales, LinkedIn can be used. LinkedIn can be used. It's a good network, no doubt about it.
Sure. Thank you, Ramesh. Again, when we look at GTM, in the context of SMEs, completely so, because larger enterprises have very established sales team and pretty large sales force and so on. If you look at SME, oftentimes it is a founder-led sales. And at some point, does that become a bottleneck? And when does that stop becoming an advantage and becoming more of a liability? Or is it the other way around, where even an enterprise buyer's perspective, seeing the energy and the enthusiasm of the founder himself or herself, does that make a material change?
Yeah. So one thing about LinkedIn. So Jagriti, I will share something. I am extensively on LinkedIn, and all my leads are from LinkedIn. Right. So I built a 9-step business canvas for LinkedIn. How do we, work LinkedIn? I will share that. Maybe you can share with the users. There's a 9-step things, right? So which you can implement, and probability of getting leads are high. On the, on the question, Vijay, which you said, right? What was the context of it?
So this is, I hear it very, very often, because if you look at small companies, it might initially start with a person who is a technology leader, who's the one who understands the business the best, who is the one who therefore talks to customers the most and also to prospects the most. So it continues to be a very high dependency on the founder It's not so much that a professional sales team is built.
Yeah, I
So at
got it.
what point? Yeah.
So there are two aspects to it. One, like if you are like below 25 crores, okay, then it makes sense to have founder-led sales. The problem with founder-led sales is when you are scaling up. When you are scaling up, that time if you are still dependent on founder to close the deals, then it's very difficult to scale. But in your initial days, I would recommend you should do founder level sales. You should be in the market, right? But once you cross 10 crores, 12 crores, start building a team under you so that in next 1 or 2 years, you can step out and the team can take it over. But in initial stages, definitely founder-led is important. See, for the customer side, right? From a customer angle, they will always say founder is the best because trust, credibility, everything comes. But from a company angle, like from our angle, it is not good. From our side, founder will always be a bottleneck if it is always a founder-led sales.
Right. So basically, you're saying that when it's small in the earlier stages, it should essentially be founder led.
Yeah.
But as you grow, you need to create your teams that can actually kind of help to scale.
Absolutely. And I think even if you grow, right? And even if you grow and if there are some larger deals, founders should be involved. Definitely.
Perfect.
But the problem is if he is involved from writing an RFP response to going to each and every meeting, then he cannot close many deals, right? So that's where the scaling will be a problem.
Excellent. I saw a lot of fantastic responses, Sagar, when you mentioned that you will share some of what you have done brilliantly on how to leverage LinkedIn. So I'm sure many, Ayush and many others in this group will definitely be looking forward to it. Let me shift gears a little bit to how important it is to kind of differentiate the offerings that we have and about positioning itself. So Ramesh, this is to you. If you look at, let's say there are about 10 technology SMEs that walk into a room and they claim expertise in AI, in cloud, in digital transformation, are 9 of them effectively undifferentiated? Meaning, how is it that an SME can genuinely differentiate itself today?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I think that's sort of fundamentally, I mentioned in the beginning that I think it's very important that we build differentiators. Every person, every individual is different. Every organization is different, right? Every requirement is unique, and so that's all fortunate thing. So when we are so different, every organization is so different. I think the thing that we need to do is that instead of saying what I can do for you is it will be the same game, right? So you don't play the capability play, right? That game, okay? Don't do that, because capability is everybody will plus minus will have the capabilities to do something, right? Instead, look at what is your niche. Number one. Number two, again, because of thanks to the LinkedIn cloud and all these AI tools, when you're going and talking to a customer, you know the persona inside out. Okay, go and tell what is the problem that you can solve. Today, so much of information is available out there. If Ramesh has a problem, he will go and publish something. If Ramesh is trying to solve a problem, Ramesh will go and publish something. Okay, so Ramesh, around that persona, most of the information is available. So when you go and meet 10 people, meet Ramesh, right? I'll go and look for person who does not say that, hey, you know what, I can build using, I have Python skills, I have Oracle skills, I have that skills and things like that. Instead of, if somebody comes and tells me, Ramesh, I think these are the problems that you have. This is what I bring to the table. This is what my niche. I don't do, as again, I go back at the same time, I don't do a, inch wide, mile deep kind of thing. This is what I do specifically for you. That's how I can differentiate.
Mm. Interesting. So it's not really about taking your capabilities and skills. It's more about understanding what they have in mind and giving very specific solutions for them, which is differentiated from what others do.
Yeah. So because again, capabilities and skills, you always have tendering.
Mm.
Okay. So that's like a tendering game, right? You have 10 or 15. So that's not the game. So the thing is that as an SME, how many times we get qualified for a tender, frankly. Okay. So these are like hard facts, right? So one is that either you want to go there, or even if there is no tender, you are going to an enterprise. There is a requirement. They have called for some 5, 6 different vendors. Tendering is not happening, but some RFP has come. How do you differentiate? Customer will only ask for what they need, but it is always your prerogative as to how you will want to respond to it. And when you respond to it, you say you wanted 1, 2, 3, 4 things. I can do this 5, 6, 7, 8 things, which will help you to do this ABC things, which you are facing already. And these problems I can help you, guarantee help you in next 2 months to 3 months time, or whatever the time frame may be. So that is the idea of what I am sharing. So then what happens? You become a different person within the group.
Right. Sak, I'll be keen for your thoughts because this is one, I think, area that many SMEs significantly struggle with, because eventually it's a very general kind of positioning, eventually get to be seen as kind of commodity vendors. And there is this thinking that it is very, very important to kind of differentiate, preferably start working in a niche, preferably become a specialist as opposed to a very generic player. So any thoughts on that from your side, Saga, in terms of differentiation and positioning in the market from a
Yeah,
context with SMEs?
I think till we are up to 50 crores, right? We have to go with niche. That's my learning. People should remember you for one thing. That's very, very critical, and it's the most difficult thing to do, right? Because one is you're scared. If I don't tell that I do all those things, I not get business and all. But it works. It has worked with me. 3-4 years back, I have attended Anand Deshpande's masterclass, Persistent Founder. He runs a workshop called Second Orbit. The fundamental of that second orbit is nothing but you have to find your niche, and niche could be found out like this. For example, right? Let's say ComSense. Instead of I saying ComSense is an Salesforce SI, right? And we have done 100 plus implementations. I would say to a retailer, right? In my initial days, ComSense is a Salesforce SI, but last 10 years, we just focus on retail industry. We understand your language, we understand your KPIs, everything. And these are the 10 retail customers we have worked with. If you do this, right, they will always remember you because you just focus on that. And once you are like to a level where you dominate this retail in a region, then you say, now I can do auto, I do banking, and it's very easy to pivot. But initially, niche is the critical factor, I think. But actually, we can have one session only on defining a niche. That's the most difficult thing. Once you define the niche, it will work. It will work, and it has worked with us. It works, spirally. It goes. That's my short answer.
Thanks, Saga. You mentioned about Dr. Anand Deshpande. I just want to call it out here again because that's among the very many programs Nasscom does, which is very valuable. One of the regular programs is one which Samir, who's on this call when he was the SME Council chair, had initiated, which was the whole second orbit program where Dr. Anand Deshpande, along with IT Mumbai, did for membership at Nasscom. And if there are people here on this call who have not heard about it, I do know that Nasscom does do this at least once a year, so trying to be a part of it, it's extremely valuable. And I do recall elements of what you're talking about as something that Dr. Deshpande said. Let me just quickly and very briefly, if either of you can respond, because I'm just again taking a question on the chat from Srinidhi, who asked, when customers differentiate only on pricing, how do we handle it? Sagar, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, good,
So,
Sagar.
okay. I think in the sales cycle, as a founder, we should avoid going into that path, because once you go into pricing war, you will never win, right? Uh, I think pricing is important, but we should always somehow take the conversation to value. Like Ramesh said, right? What problem I am solving? And I only to add to Ramesh, you have to say, I have solved this in your industry for 10 customers. These are the references. Let's talk about the value. I think if we talk about the value, right, and I'm sure out of 10, you will get 2 customers, whatever value you give to them, they'll say paisa. Say, wow, kitne paise mein karoge, na? So this is your personal choice. If it is a strategic account, if you have to go into low pricing and grow it, you do it. Otherwise, you should always stay away from this conversation. That's my personal view.
I completely agree, Sagar, with you on that. In addition to that, I think you also touched upon that, Sagar, briefly. I would go on the pricing only when I see, even it is a new customer, what is in it for me in the long run. If I don't see anything, I will not get into that war game. I will only say that I will be happy to lose that business. Again, remember what I said at the beginning. As I will not work with a client through XYZ, right? I'll go work directly. And similarly here, pricing is something which is, and we do this also day in and day out, right? And when it's a very practical thing that happens when we buy even vegetables, and flowers. Some people who will not negotiate, we already know that they have better quality, right? And things like that. So it also communicates something. But if you know that the customer is very big, you're getting an entry into that, then you need to see, hey, do you really have something that you can gain from this on a long term? But I will again add something very caveat to it, saying that many of the times we keep doing that, but no more business comes, right? And you will stuck with that lower rates. So you need to be very cautious about it.
Yeah, agree.
I'm going to push both of you a little bit on this. And the reason is I suspect that both of you have established businesses which afford the luxury of taking a position of saying no. But like you said, Ramesh, if I'm selling high quality flowers, which is expensive because the quality is high, but nobody is buying, wouldn't I be forced to eventually sell it for a lower price? I'm not advocating it. I'm just pushing you to get your thoughts. So I am early stage. I'm a small and medium business. I'm being pushed on price. I'm being told take it or leave it. Are you saying no matter what, it's leave it?
I'll answer it slightly differently. Okay. I'll question this question.
Mm-hmm.
How long you're going to penalize your P&L for the sake of getting such businesses?
Good point.
You are not a Uber or some, just the name I'm saying, or some other large organizations where some of these organizations are built where the ROI comes in 10 years, 15 years. We'd never know that. So that's not. These are all SME companies, founder-led. I have cash today. How do I grow the business and things like that, right? So from that standpoint of view, you can do that, but one time, two time, not every time. That's what I'm saying, Vijay, right? We can't keep doing it because we not justify my costs. I can't undercut my own costs and do that every time. I'll become bankrupt.
Right.
Yeah, Vijay, I have something on this, right?
Sure.
He put it very nicely that why will I get hit on my P&L? I would say, why are you funding their projects?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? You are not that rich to fund their projects. Okay. So they have money. So you see after yourself. But again, there is a small thin line. If it is a strategic account, and if you think once I enter inside, I can grow, right? You can still negotiate on price, but I follow this practice. Whenever you're negotiating, you have to tell them, my price is this, I am doing it this only because I think there is a growth inside. If you are in India, there should be some emotional touch. If you're outside India, you can document this also. That actually my rate is this, but for this project, I'm reducing it. In future will work out, right? But you have to tell this. And fundamental, I'm telling you, after 11 years of running this, I have understood it's not worth funding customers' projects. It's better not to do a project, but it's not worth unless it is strategic.
Right. Thanks, Sagar. I know we have 13 minutes to go, but I did pick already a few questions. So I'm taking the liberty of actually putting one more aspect, which I think is useful, a completely different theme, which is really about partnerships and how partnership ecosystems can really help growth for SMEs. So we've always talked about it as a very powerful GTM strategy, but if you really look at it, oftentimes partnerships do not generate very meaningful revenues. So why do so many partnerships fail to actually produce business, or what distinguishes partnerships that actually generate good business and good business value from those which remain largely kind of aspirational? Sagar.
Yeah. So see, for us, it has always worked. OEM partnership like IBM, Salesforce, Google, it has always worked because I was on the other side in IBM before starting this, right? So what we do, there is a hack to this. One thing is you have to take partnership very seriously, because one thing is you're small and the brand of Salesforce and IBM is really big, right? And they have hundreds of sellers who can penetrate in market. Okay, but still, why will they come to you is, see, they also need leads. They also have problems because they are big. Like, for example, I partner with Salesforce, but suppose I'm expanding in the ASEAN region 2-3 years back. I go and tell the partner manager and the sellers, these are my two people. Whenever you need any demos, any pre-sale activity, they are dedicated for your region. Now, in larger organization, what happens is if they have to give a demo, there's only one pre-sales guy who takes care of the region and he's very busy, right? The seller likes this. They say, okay, this is the company, right? They can do a demo. Another thing, what we have found that, and it is not only for partner sales guys like Salesforce and IBM, for everyone, we have found this rule. Me and our founder, we say you will never get a value from a relationship, whether it's a sales call or a customer or with partner, unless you meet that guy for at least 3 times. You have to meet that person for 3 times, casually, personally, officially, it doesn't matter. After 3 times, actually you'll start getting the value. So another thing ComSense does is we consciously put efforts. We map Salesforce A's, IBM A's, account executive, and say, okay, this 5 guys you manage, this 5 guys you manage. You have to go and meet them, go with them with customers, and it works. It absolutely works. And all means whoever are attending, if they are partner with someone, go and ride with them. It's very easy to penetrate.
Nice. Thank you, Sagar. Ramesh and Sagar, I'm going to just move now to some questions that are there on the chat group. Let me pick up a few of them. There's a question from Remy, and that's the last on the chat so far. It says, and it's a good one, which I thought I should pick up, which is really about enterprise accounts which have these kind of procurement teams. So the question is, what's a good way to connect with procurement teams? Either.
It is very difficult. Always remember, you have to wear their hat. So see, what is the KRA of procurement? Let's say if you put a proposal of 100 rupees, they have to show to their bosses that from 100, I've got it down to 80 or 90, right? So one thing, whenever you put a proposal and there is an enterprise sales cycle, you always keep 10-15% for procurement, not for yourself, so that they will feel happy that they have reduced your cost. Okay, and it's very, very important, and we miss that. Another thing, see, it is not easy to build relationship with procurement, right? and sometimes there's a compliance when you go into enterprise. So we should not get into relationship in procurement. What I have realized is you can dominate procurement. How you can dominate procurement is when business is on your side. When the business says, I want this service, procurement का काम इतना ही रहता है कि okay, now 100 to 90 or 95 or 85. That's it. But business should be on your side. So focus more on business. Procurement you can dominate. That's my take.
Nice. Thanks, Sagar. Ramesh, I'm going to come to you with a question that's come from Siddharth. And the question goes like this. We often receive the response that the client already has a solution in place. In such situations, apart from explaining our additional offerings, what would be the best approach to understand whether the current solution has any gaps or limitations and help them evaluate if a replacement or enhancement may be beneficial?
Very good question. A very good question. And I think many times we face this. Okay. 2-3 things again. One is that know what is your customer doing, for what purpose your customer has bought this solution. Is the solution inbuilt, or the solution is being a platform solution or some other vendor, right? Understand, try to spend time, and I don't think we are going to tell here how to do that, right? You need to have the intelligence today to find out those information, and then try to, again, I'll go back to the fundamental thing. Try to see what is the customer, why the customer has bought that. And if your solution is similar, do you agree? Okay, let me go back to that. Do you agree with the customer? If you agree with the customer, then there is no choice, right? If you disagree with the customer, okay, then you know your product, your solution much better. Bring in the differentiator between the product that or the solution that they currently have. Because again, I'm going by the premise that you are working on your niches. So you know inside out. You tell what is the possibilities of things going wrong, which maybe the customer has not taken into account. And this communication without accusing the customer, not them feeling, hey, you have done a wrong decision and things like that. No, it's speaking again, I'm talking about training and coaching these people, right? And that's how you need to do that. That's number one. Number two, if this is a large enterprise, and if you feel that your solution is a very good solution, offer a one hour training program, workshop, do insight. I mean, many of the enterprises have what they call as L&D and knowledge sharing and learning from the vendors, partners, right? Push for that. Go and share your product, your solutions and things like that, and try to find out and keep at it. If you are 100% sure that your solution is better, I think you should keep at it and try to convince the customer.
Thanks, Ramesh. I'm going to go very quickly to you, Sagar, and this is a clarification you might need to make because of the question about something that Jankana feels you talked about. So let me read that for you. Sagar mentioned, and we'll try and keep it brief because I think we're quickly running out of time, which is 5 minutes more. But Sagar mentioned AI is not working globally, so wait before jumping onto the bandwagon. Can you please give more context to this? Why do you say this? As in my experience, all customers are talking AI, and that's the first question they ask. What AI capability do we have?
Yeah, I read that question, and I never said that don't jump, first thing. What I'm saying is that instead of you saying I do AI, first reflect, find 1 or 2 use cases and tell your customer that I do this use case, but very important, this has been validated, this has been used by a POC, this is the outcome. Unless you have all this, otherwise what's happening is every company in this world is saying I have AI. How will you differentiate, right? So before you go and say, I also do AI, instead of that, change your wording and say, I do AI, this is POC tested, this is the output, and this is what the customer is saying. That's more powerful.
Perfect. Thanks for clarifying that, Sagar. This might be the last question. I see a whole lot of questions, but I deeply apologize that we are going enormously short on time. and we will keep the hard stop of 4 o'clock. So I need a brief answer, but I want to ask this question because my own personal experience, one of the largest levers for growth that we had in the last 5-6 years was a deep focus on account management. And this question relates to that. So let me ask this to maybe quickly if you can take this, Ramesh. Sumit asked this question. Once you successfully land within one domain of a major enterprise client, expanding into other business units can be notoriously difficult due to internal silos. What are your playbook strategies for breaking out of the initial domain and building credibility across the broader enterprise?
Very, very good question. Okay, I can try to be as brief as possible. Okay, this could be a webinar session itself, this question, right? So there are many ways to do that, right? When you talk about a domain, let me take an example, right? Let me take a healthcare example, okay? So healthcare example, so you're a domain, you landed in that, okay, on that particular domain you're doing it. So when I go to one particular, the reason why we say domain, right? And importance of domain is, even if there are multiple functions within the enterprise, be it procurement or hiring for them, HR and things like that, right? Procurement, HR, and whatever other functions could be, operations and things like that, everything will be related to healthcare. So the domain play is very, very important. So when you landed there with one particular, I'm trying to understand this question, because the question read as, when you go into an enterprise and land with a domain. My example is that I'm landing in enterprise, which is basically a healthcare customer. So it's already enterprise domain, healthcare domain. So within that, I'm answering, there are various domains in the sense that I have faced. Instead of saying domains, I'm saying various functions, because within an enterprise, there cannot be multiple domains, there are various functions. That could be a subdomain. Right? I need to create that and go, because these domain sub-functions will not be much, totally different from the main domain. Because if you go to a finance or if you go to a procurement, whatever these guys will do is very similar and related to healthcare. So your know-how knowledge about your domain, your primary healthcare domain, comes into play. Go to market. Okay, if it is a healthcare, you are doing a drug discovery, for example. So these are like, and this drug discovery will be driven R&D. And also marketing, because the marketing has to start marketing once the research is done. So in the entire internal your cycle, right? You need to. So to answer your question, you landed in one particular thing, and because at the end of the day we are only providing technology solutions. Okay, what you need, and the domain already you have, you need to have that flavor of functions, and you can expand. You need to build the rapport relationship, very, very similar to the first question that was asked. References is important. I'm telling you, when you land in an enterprise, do a good job with particular function, and then you do what I again repeatedly 2-3 times I said, once you land inside, it is much easier to do a workshop. Go conduct a workshop, include these whatever functions you are working with, ask them to give references to the other people and other function leaders, functional heads. You can, once you, because you're inside, right, then you can try to maneuver inside. I'm not too sure if I answered, but yeah.
Right, I think you answered it well, and I think we need to, in any case, I think wind up now. It's just been a excellent discussion, and I think overall we understand that even while the game is changing and AI is definitely changing the landscape, companies continue to succeed through the basics of what really is called for, about establishing trust, about specialization, about the founder involvement we talked about. Sagar, you mentioned about partnerships, etc., and all those remain to be very valid. I want to sincerely thank Ramesh and Sagar. I see so much more questions, and there's so many more I would like to ask too, but I think we need to call it off. But thank you so much for sharing your insights and your experiences very, very candidly. And thanks to all the participants as well, because I think this has been very engaging. There's been a whole lot of questions that have been put forth. And I also want to call out and thank Nasscom, particularly the SME Council, for providing platforms like this, which really helps SMEs like us to accelerate the whole learning process and growth. So thank you, everyone. Wish you all the very best in building and growing your own enterprise business. Thank you very much. Thanks for staying.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining in. Thank you Vijay, Ramesh and Sagar for giving in your experience, suggestions and guidelines to all the SMEs present here. So for everyone who is asking, we'll share the recording of the session as well. If anyone has any specific doubt, you can write to me over my email. I have mentioned that in the chat box. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining in. We'll come up with another topic next month. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vijay, for making this session very interactive and interesting. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Jackie.